Hello, I'm Bernie Jaroslow, and I'm with Whitmix as marketing manager, and welcome to Quick Takes. Today I have the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Yaron Gabel, Denka's clinical advisor and subject matter expert on Denka's CAD/CAM removable and fixed full mouth prosthetics solutions. He's been with Denka and the Mitsui Chemical Group for almost 7 years, and prior to that, Dr. Gabel received his DDS degree from the Universidad Tecnológica de Mexico. I hope I didn't butcher that too much. He has held teaching positions at several educational institutions in Mexico and the US, and he's had his own practice before working full-time for Denka. At Denka, Dr. Gabel focuses his time on lecturing and providing hands-on training to individual doctors, academia, group practices, and other dental professionals about Denka's various digital systems. So today I wanted to ask Dr. Gabel to talk a little bit about Denka itself, because I know not everybody is completely familiar with Denka, but what we certainly are at Whitmix. I think I'd like to ask him to talk a little bit about the company, because we're a very proud reseller of Denka products, and we'd like to let you know a little bit more about it. So, Dr. Gabel, what's Denka all about?
Thank you, Bernie, for having me today. So Denka has a commitment to bringing high quality, simple to use innovative products to the market, as well as keep pioneering in the world of CAD/CAM and removable dentistry. Denka itself was a company that was founded back in 2007. There were several dental professionals that gathered. They wanted to make denture making easy. That was the initial project. And then back in 2009, Denka actually consolidated as a company, and they obtained the first license in the world to use a computerized three-dimensional structuring method to produce dentures. This is the first AI-based software that was created for denture manufacture. So Denka has always been a company of firsts. So we like to pioneer in that area. And then a few years later, around 2012, there was an official launch of our unique trade technology that many of you might have seen in the market for several years, which allow doctors to take all the denture records in one appointment and then proceed to the denture manufacturer. And we created the first flow for what we called the first CAD/CAM denture in the market. And then a few years later, we kept pioneering. 2017, we released the first 100% Class 2 FDA cleared denture in the market. That is for teeth and base, not only for base. And also a milled fixed full arch implant supported restoration, which is Denka 4. And now in 2019, we have our newest material, which we'll talk about in a moment together. But that is essentially Denka. Denka is a company that wants to make things high quality and easy to use for all our users.
So in the bio that you sent me that I just read, it says that it's part of Mitsui Chemical Group. Is it located in Japan, or where is it actually?
Not at all. So Mitsui Chemicals is a company that partially it has ownership of Denka, or I should better say has a stock with Denka. But Denka is actually a 100% American company. It's both located in the US, and everything we do at Denka is manufactured in the US as well. So we're proud to say we're a 100% American company.
And where is it in the US?
We are in Torrance, which is 20 miles south of Los Angeles in California.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So today, thanks. I appreciate that. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about a couple of the product lines that we sell, as you know. The first, of course, is the digital denture, the 3D printed denture, the first one. And then I'd like to kind of transition over into the newest product line, which is the 3D printed temporary crown and bridge material, which is pretty exciting as well. So let's talk printed dentures. We know it's certainly a fast growing segment of both the dental laboratories and the dentist technology markets. I know it's a Class 2 medical device and it is FDA approved, but what more can you tell us about the denture?
So digital dentures have probably been in the market, I would say, for roughly about 7 years. But normally what happened is there would be new materials released as far as dentures go, but dentures have remained the same for roughly about 100 years until about 7 years ago when digital came in and we started making these dentures CAD/CAM. At the beginning, we only used 3D print and design a denture, and then we would process conventionally. But Denka changed that when the 3D printing material started to be released. So ever since 3D printing came into the dental world, I think the CAD/CAM denture industry has blown proportionally, and it's grown very, very rapidly, especially in the last year. Part of it, I think, it's the materials, but also software and a couple other improvements. Also, intraoral scanners and conventional laboratory scanners are evolving. So this is making so more laboratories are switching to digital slowly, and it's been growing greatly. As far as the materials themselves, as a brief introduction, our 3D printed dentures are made from a type of acrylic, an acrylic. So they're just like any conventional denture as far as what you can do and you cannot do with the materials themselves. One of the biggest benefits of digital is that our dentures are printed with the denture base and the denture teeth are essentially chemically the same material, and they're bonded with the same denture base material. So basically, once you combine them or you cure them together, they become monolithic in nature, which essentially means that they fuse together. So once you bond the teeth to the base, you cannot separate it, which makes for a much stronger denture. So you don't have any issues with teeth popping out or any of those circumstances that you normally get with your conventional dentures.
Right, right.
And there's also the benefit of having digital backups. So if the denture breaks or is lost, all you have to do is take that file, reprint it again, and give it to the patient. So let's say, for example, you have a situation where the patient is traveling, he's gone for a month, he loses his denture. You can easily reprint that and send it to the customer without even him having to see a dentist, or you can have a local dentist see him. So it's great for actual emergencies where you need another denture right away. So I think those are probably two of the key factors that have push digital dentistry forward. And then with 3D printed, you have a very quick and easy way to make them without too much of a hassle. So Denka, for example, is not trying to substitute the work of dental technicians, but actually work with them to make their jobs easier and to be able to manufacture more with less effort.
Yeah, that's great. You mentioned with printed dentures, obviously there is that the ability to replace it if as needed. And one of the reasons you said is that it can be lost, but also in case it breaks. So I just want to address something about dentures. I know typically when they're in use and service, they're pretty strong acrylics and they don't break and all that. But there's always concern about the strength of materials. So I wanted to ask you, what about the strength of Denka compared to either other printed materials or conventional acrylics?
So Dentca's material is not a high impact material. It means that, for example, if you drop it from 100 feet, it's going to break.
Yeah.
However, what I do want to clarify about our material, and I feel that's where much of the confusion stems sometimes, is that our materials in the mouth work pretty well. What I mean by that is, for example, the flexural strength ISO for conventional acrylic in the market is 65 megapascal. That is the force. It essentially means that if you bend enough something at that amount, it's going to break. Ours is at 90 megapascals, so we're basically 25 megapascals above the minimum ISO. So I guess you could say it's comparable to an injected molded acrylic denture out there in the market. We're far superior than your poor dentures. Of course, you cannot compare a 3D printed denture with a mill denture, for example, as you cannot compare apples to apples. However, Denka is working on a very exciting material that is going to come next year. It's going to be a much stronger material than what we currently have. So I cannot really go too much into details as far as flexural strength goes, but it's going to be a very interesting material in the market. Also, another benefit of these material that you have over conventional dentures is what we call tooth abrasion. So when you're cleaning the dentures with a toothbrush, our teeth are much more resistant. We did a testing with the material. We actually compared our printed material with two different stock teeth, the denture teeth, and what we did is it's constant brushing. And after an hour of very intense, aggressive brushing testing, 100% of one of the brands was completely gone, meaning it completely, the tooth completely disappeared. Another one had 92% gone, meaning only 8% of the tooth remained. Ours was only 70% gone, meaning we had 30% of the tooth remaining, which means that our teeth material is actually far more durable than several of the conventional stock teeth brands out there.
Oh, interesting.
As far as the strength, though, we did a testing. So from 2017 to 2018, which is when the material launched, we tested 471 arches in the patient's mouth, and we only had 1% of total breakage. And most of these breakages, which is close to 6 dentures that were broken when thrown into the ground, not breaking in the mouth.
Right. That's great. That's good news. You know, one of the things about Denka that maybe even people who have heard of the company or even maybe use the material uh, is that Denka offers a design service, which is great, a denture design service. And it's kind of a do-it-yourself design service. And normally there's a charge for that. But I think there's something going on right now through the end of 2020 that maybe you can talk about a little bit. And Emily, tell us a little bit about the software and how it's done.
Absolutely. So, Denka software has been one of our biggest pride and joys. We created an AI-based system that can consistently create dentures with very high precision through algorithm technology. And that software has been what we call a closed software for a long time. So since we started using it in 2012, there was no way that laboratories could actually use our software. And we got a lot of requests from labs saying, hey, can I buy your software? Can I use your software? So before last year, the way we would operate is we would design for other laboratories. But eventually, starting last year, we decided to open this software to laboratory and dental users alike. So basically, we create a very simple to use software. Everything is web-based, which means you don't have to go and buy an expensive license, which means you spend a lot of money, you buy one license, you can only put it in one computer and have one design.
Right.
At the same time. In here, it's web-based, which means if you have 10 computers with access to internet and 10 designers, you can be designing 10 dentures at the same time. Not only that, but when you design, what happens is normally you design something and then you have to wait for it to render. And while it's rendering, you can't use the software for anything else. With the Denka software, what happens is everything is generated on our servers. So as soon as you finish designing a denture and you send it for final generation, usually after 10, 15 minutes, you can start another one right away. So for laboratories or people who have a very high volume and they need to be constantly designing, this is a great service out there. So what we're doing right now is we want everybody to enjoy it, everybody to try it. It's a very simple to use software. And what we really want out there is for everybody to realize how simple it is to use it. You only need to have very minimal knowledge regarding alignment, trimming, and landmarks. And what we're doing is we're co-running a promotion together with Whitmix. So if you buy material from Whitmix, you get a coupon code. And with that coupon code, you can get 3 free designs at our denkadesign.com platform. So everybody can design for free out of platform, but when you try to download the files is when you actually have to pay the fee. So it's
Right.
just to clarify, it's 3 free downloads, not free design. You can design for free however much you want. There's demo files. You could do 100 cases without downloading for free.
That's awesome. That's great. So let's switch direction and talk about the temporary materials because that's very exciting. Certainly, I mean, people have been waiting for printed temporaries for quite some time, and I think this is, one of the most exciting things that's come along in quite a while. So if you can, talk a little bit about the physical properties, mechanical properties, maybe compare it with conventional temporaries, and give us a sense of why people should be excited about it.
Absolutely. So early 2019, Denka launched their first crown and bridge printable material. So this material, just for comparison, there's actually no ISO for strength when it comes to acrylic temporaries. I'm talking crown and bridge, but there is a standard which is basically 50 megapascals. So our material is 72 megapascals as far as compressive strength goes, and the basic minimal bonding strength is 5 megapascal, and our material is roughly around 8.3. It's a 3D printable material. You can design it with any software. You can take any of the crown and bridge software out there and just design the crown, design the bridge, and then you can 3D print it with any of the supported printers that Denka has. So that is essentially what it is. They're temporaries that meant to be in the mouth for a while, and then the laboratory will make the final restoration.
So when they're printed, can they then shade them by using stains and perhaps glaze, light cure materials? Did you hear me?
Yes. So both the dentures, yes. So both the dentures and the crown and bridge material can be stained. It can be, you can layer the gums with composite if you would like. So basically, as I mentioned before, anything you can do to a conventional acrylic denture or a conventional crown and bridge acrylic material, you can do to this. So you can reline, you can repair, you can basically stain, glaze, build layers with composite, anything. So if you want to make very high detail dentures or very high detail crown and bridge materials, you can definitely do so with ours.
Excellent. Yeah, and I've seen the results, and it is a beautiful looking material. So, those of you who are looking to do printed temporaries, I don't think you could find anything that looks any better out there. It really is a nice, aesthetically pleasing material, which is great. So that's it from me. Do you have any questions from me or Whitmix or anything else that you'd like to tell us?
Just to go out there, if you have any questions regarding our materials, our different products, Denka is constantly coming up with new exciting products in the market. I can't really talk much about it, but I do want to say we have a lot of exciting new material releases starting early next year. So not only are we expanding the compatibility right now, for example, crown and bridge materials are only compatible, and the 3D printed denture materials are only in the US and Canada, but we're expanding. So next year we're going to be expanding to further parts of the world. Nice. As well as releasing new materials. So we have a lot of exciting things to come early first, second quarter next year. So please look into that and go to dentca.com if you have any questions, if you want to see anything else of all the exciting things we're currently working on and promoting.
Well, Dr. Gabel, thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us on Quick Takes. I really appreciate it. I'm sure everyone listening does as well. And I want to tell you that if you have any questions about Denka materials, the digital denture or the temporary crown and bridge materials, all you have to do is go to whitmix.com and we have all the information there. So thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you at a future Quick Take. Thanks.
The honor was all mine. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.